Hello? Hello? Is there sound now? Every time I do this, the same settings don't work. Okay, cool. Thanks for letting me know. Does it sound okay or is it garbled? Cool. Now then, we're doing okay. We're ahead of where we were last time. Sweet. On a sketch cover, there's not a ton of room, so I have to make some choices. Get his foot there. He's got the kitty. He's saying, "Don't worry, Arthur. We'll have you back in moth form in no time." I'm going to check and see if there's a blank back on this one. I don't remember. This is one of the San Diego ones. Yes, we do have a blank back. So we're going to do a front and back sketch cover. And we're going to do the Tick and Arthur. So we will have the front is the Tick with a cat that he has just saved. And then the back will be Arthur looking confused. So, all right, now we're off to the races. I actually think it should be a little slightly more heroic pose, so it's more just a conceptual sketch. All right. I had an event last weekend at a comic book store, Wild Time Comics. I'd never been to that store before. It was in Attleboro, and they moved their free comic book day up a week because a good chunk of their stuff that they do is outside. It is, yeah. It was a nice event. The owner there was super friendly. Got to see a bunch of folks. I picked up a cool book there too. I went inside and I bought myself the Marvel Man special. This is the British magazine, the Alan Moore stuff. Alan Moore, Alan Davis, who I'm a bigger fan of Alan Davis than I am of Alan Moore. I would say that. And yeah, this is like old school British comic magazine. But yeah, I got that inside. They had it by the register, so it was had my name all over it. And I will tell you that Jeff and I are trying very hard to get more Tick comics to happen. You know, we spent a lot of time putting together some research and some statistical stuff, and it's a keep your fingers crossed, and you know, just hope that the powers that be can see it fit for us to do some more. There was one time I drew a Tick sketch cover that had the Tick and Arthur, and someone asked if they could have it without Arthur. I just thought that that was very funny. They wanted everything else. They just wanted me to like white out Arthur or something. It was just one of those like you can't make it up requests. It's one of the more fun drawing requests. Like if people always ask like what's the craziest commission request and that kind of stuff, but I do think that's one of the funniest. It's like I like this piece that you have here, but if you could just take out this character. I'm gonna go see Doctor Strange on Sunday, I believe. Head over to the local theater. Jonathan, if you want to join me, you're welcome to come along. Of course, I've suggested a story where all it is like the Tick gets a cat, and Arthur, being the neat freak that he is, and obviously he'd be allergic to it. Cool, cool, yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I like Sam Raimi movies, and I've been a fan of Doctor Strange comic books for many years. I'm hoping it's weirder than the first one because that was my one complaint. Oh, cool. Yeah, I like Sam Raimi flicks beyond just the Evil Dead movies, although we love those. Dark Man, great movie. A Simple Plan was a good movie. Yeah, I didn't see Spider-Man: No Way Home. I'm not the biggest Spidey guy, and I haven't seen. I don't think I've seen any of the Tom Holland solo movies. My buddy Jay is like the aficionado. Yeah, Simple Plan is great. The late Bill Paxton and Billy Bob Thornton. It was on, I think it was on Amazon the last time I saw it. Simple Plan. If people haven't seen that movie, my wife hadn't seen it, and she watched it and she liked it quite a bit. So I hadn't seen it in years. Right now, I'm really just roughing out the shapes. We know that the Tick has a kitty with him, little one. Yeah. Oh, awesome, Ben. That's great to hear. I think I saw that. I believe I liked that post. And if you want to put the link to the Kickstarter in the video here, Ben, you're welcome to. I back the Kickstarter. Say I'm a supporter of Seance Room. I think you got like a Ben Templesmith cover next or pin up next as your next stretch goal, which is pretty awesome. I met Mr. Templesmith a couple of times. He was very nice. Oh, amazing. That I mean, I'm sure it's going to be spectacular. He's a terrific artist. I think I'm going to go with the arm up. There's my bag of goodies. My disorganized bag of supplies. One of the rewards that I'm excited for, and I'm glad more writers are doing this with the Kickstarters, and my buddy Jeff did it for his last one too. It was having the writers write stories, just like artists do commissions. And you had one of the particular ones. It was that you were going to write an original little story. And I love that. That's becoming one of my new things. That if that's a reward level, I'm all over that. You know, because I think it's really really cool. You get an original little mini manuscript from a professional writer. Yeah, there it is. Ben just shared the link over on Facebook, so give it a gander. It's free to take a look. But yeah, I think those are great reward ideas. The original mini stories that are either handwritten or on a typewriter, if you have one. I think that's the cool new. To me, that's like the cool new thing. It's probably not new. I'm probably just old. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm just doing a sketch cover. I'm gonna put Arthur over here. What I want to do is so that there's a little bit of a reason. I try to put even in a pinup a little bit of storytelling, and I'm gonna put like a robot head right here. Like they just destroyed our robot, and there's smoke coming out of it. And Arthur, the tick, for some reason, thinks that Arthur has been transformed into a cat. That's what his captions will be. And then Arthur will be right here, just like his hands on his head. We'll have one of his antennae busted. Okay, as you can see, it's really rough, and what I'm really doing is like making an attempt to fill the whole page, have a space, and have a plan. And with sketch covers, when you do a front and back, it's never displayed spread out. So what you really have is a two-panel story where this is panel one, and then this is panel two. And so when it's in a bag and board, people will see this. And what I want to do is I'll have the cat's eyes looking this way, and you'll have some connected smoke and some other things that connect the two sides. And hopefully that gets them to either take it out and flip it over, or what I recommend if you're not slabbing it, put the backing board in the middle of the book and then put it in the bag and board. When you do that, it makes it so you can see both sides. I did a couple of two-sided sketch covers for Colorado Springs last year, and they were very popular, even though they were kind of pricey. People really liked them. I did one where the Joker was on the back of one where Harley was telling Ivy that she was her best friend, and Ivy's just looking annoyed. Um, I did a Wolverine one. That was fun. But anywhere you like. I don't have a big following over on Twitch because I don't do like they give you a list of things you're supposed to do, like make little clips and all this other stuff, and I don't I don't have a team, and I I, I just fall short on all that stuff. I am learning some new video editing software this summer, so hopefully that'll educate me and show me how I can do things like that faster and more efficiently. So I haven't picked a light source. Let's pick a light source. One thing I noticed about Twitch also is that I rarely have people stay for the whole stream. You know, they give you the analytics, and over on Twitch, the average viewer is usually there for about 5 minutes, and then someone else pops on. This is just for fun. It'll be in my art for sale binder because I've been doing some shows and some store signings lately, and people have been kind enough to support my work and buy stuff. So I got to make new stuff to sell. Um, as much as I love selling just comic books, it's really hard to, you know, make any substantial money for me just selling the books. So, and plus, I just like doing them. You know, it's I've really changed my heart on sketch covers. There was a time when I just really didn't enjoy them because I don't know, I didn't have the confidence to be like this book that these people that I don't know uh, poured their hearts into to make the guts of this book, and I'm just drawing on the front of it. I'm just some guy. And then I heard a few interviews from creators and executives actually that were like high-end publishers, basically just saying like that's what we want. We want to see people fill them with artwork. Um, so it was really when I heard that that's what the intent is, and that's what they really want. You know, I didn't know if was really just for people that have worked on the characters to have them and make extra money, but they were like, you know, I think Joe Quesada said that they were for everybody, and there was another who was the DC person? It wasn't Dan Didio. Oh, Thomas, it was very nice talking to you too. And you know, thanks for popping in and picking up some stuff and chatting comics. And you know, it's good to get out there and see human beings outside of the studio where I'm, you know, 99% of my life is staring at these four walls. On a sketchbook of my interiors, you know, like I said, I've changed my mind over stuff. Before before I was like really kind of sensitive about that kind of thing, but now like I would really want to see what people do. Like, you know, if Undersea Hero this summer on Kickstarter gets funded, and you know there will definitely be a sketch cover option that people can get. And you know, I would love for people to just take a crack at it of all ages and abilities, and I just want this sort of thing to be fun, and I think that that's more or less the intent behind them. Oh, thanks, Desiree. That's very nice of you. Yeah, I'm still learning stuff about the streaming setup and software and everything. So I just figured out someone last time or the time before said that my YouTubes were set to not have comments, and I was just because I had comments on for everything, and then I guess it's in the age restrictions. So if you say that it's kid friendly, they don't allow comments. But if you say that it's I don't know. Anyway, I clicked a thing and it unlocked the comments. So if anybody's watching on YouTube, they should be able to comment. Really, the YouTube option is there because it allows me to put it on my website, and it allows for my parents and anyone that I know that has a smart TV, they can watch it on TV instead of on a computer. Yeah, I watch the kayfabe guys sometimes. They did an episode on the Tick, and they asked like some questions about the character and the publishing. And I threw a comment up there. I told them I would, help them out if they actually wanted to learn that stuff. And they had 10 million other things going on, I'm sure. So it was left unanswered. But I enjoy their programs. I like their interviews quite a bit. I think they do a good job. I don't share some of their enthusiasms. I don't share, but they like good old comics. So anytime they show the good old comics and break those down, I enjoy hearing what their thoughts are. They do. They have good stuff. Oh, that's great to hear, Geeks and Drinks. Yeah, it's I'm still learning, and I'm sorry if it's not great. I'm not sure when it's going to begin. Like I said, yes, absolutely, Thomas. I'm working with a fellow on the plan, and I want to go into it with a full plan to have everything set up and hopefully the book completely done before it goes to Kickstarter. Because first Kickstarter out of the gate, I don't want people waiting too long for their stuff. And it also depends on if NEC accepts the tick pitch that Jeff and I just gave them 2 days ago. I turned it in 2 days ago. It was a freaking 12-page PDF of a plan for how to do the tick. Oh, thanks, Ryan. I'll be you'll be able to see all my mistakes on a giant television. It's great. But like I said, I'm just still roughing it out. I do more drawing in the inking stage than I used to, especially with the tick because I've drawn him so many times that I'm pretty comfortable drawing him. Like for the antennae, I can really just draw 2 lines that tell me where they need to go. Because right now, what I need the antennae to do is point at the cat. He's looking at the cat, the antennae are pointing at the cat, and then I need the cat's tail to be pointing at Arthur. So like little things like that in the composition. Oh, no worries, Kevin. Tick the musical. Yeah, I did. It might be in this one. Hold on. Is it in this story? No, it's not this one. It's the collector's story that I wrote. Um, one of the gags in the background is Tick the musical. Tick on Broadway. He has a poster of it hanging in his hallway, and it's got the Tick singing on it. Um, NEC is still it's a store first and a publisher. Hey, thanks, Ben. Good luck on your podcast, and I'll keep sharing the seance room stuff over on Twitter and wherever. You know, I'm sure you'll hit all those stretch goals. Thanks for popping in. Um, and NEC really hasn't published anything since the beginning of the pandemic, and obviously, like, the retail business is what drives the publishing arm as much as anything else. So Jeff and I are trying to find ways to perhaps help with the funding in addition to just making the book. So, and if you see depending on how the ticket pitch is received, you may see a poll come up on my Facebook or Twitter, because it would be a new thing that they've never done, and I might need your help with that one. And I think that you guys would help quite a bit. Yeah, it's not that simple. Unfortunately, I would draw the book basically for nothing. But hey, if the tick ended up on some sort of crowdfunding, I think it would do really well, and it's going to be hopefully more. And look, if we hit a bump in the road, I'm just going to come out and ask you guys to chime in on it so I can send it to NEC. Because they'll tell me that when I go to shows or when I talk to people, that when I tell them that people literally from here to Colorado to Ohio to California, everywhere I go, people ask for new issues of the book. And, they'll tell me, oh, that's anecdotal, or, those are your friends or whatever. And, even if I tell them that complete strangers come up to me and ask, we tend to be dismissive of it. But got the tick. I'm trying to bend this shin a little bit so that it's got a little more action to it. Not too much, just a little bit of exaggeration, because what you want to do to have more gravity is you want to have, things going against one another. And his center of balance point is like right about here. So that's one thing you do learn about when you when I've had I learn about it in sports. So. And that's where a lot of people met the character, and it's not where I met the character, because I was bought a tick trade when I was a kid, the first Bonanza edition. But people love the show, and people love I like the Amazon version. A lot of people did, and I got to do a panel at Rhode Island a few years ago now, and we had Patrick Warburton on the panel, and we had Griffin Newman on the panel, who was Arthur in the new series, and it was Jeff, the writer, Bob Polio, and myself, and it was a lot of fun, and the place was packed. The room was packed. Let's make sure this looks like a stereotypical robot. I'm gonna make it an angry robot, though. There we go. How do you know it's angry? It's got a frowny face. There's some wires coming out of it. All right. I still haven't picked a light source, which is why everything looks kind of flat still. I think we'll pick up over here. We'll say the light source is coming from up here, the primary, and there will be some sparks here. So there'll be a little bit coming up on Arthur's face. This way we can get some cast shadows. We want to have the tick's trap muscle, trapezius muscle, and yes, absolutely, Desiree. If you did that, I think that because I tried to do everything I could, to convince them to go back to San Diego this year, and they just opted not to. I'm hoping that they're able to get their spot back next year and everything's okay, and fingers crossed. But yeah, a nice sad-faced photograph of a true fan of the Tick. And I'm sure there are going to be people looking for NEC because they've been there for so long. People are going to ask. All right, since the light's coming from here, we do need a little bit of a cast shadow over here. This side's going to have the thickest line. Now, I kind of fake the muscles on the legs sometimes, especially when it's not like forcing the action. What I mean by that is it's not his balance point. He's not pushing off on that leg right now. He's actually, his weight is coming forward. I don't believe NEC will be at Terrificon. The only show that they have mentioned to me, and they haven't committed to it, is New York. They've asked me if they did it, would I go? And I said, of course. I'd be happy to be there. And Terrificon's a tough one just because the space and the cost, and yeah, it's a little bit tricky for NEC as a store or as a publisher to set up there. Like, that's actually one thing I haven't asked the promoters there, is if they would have NEC as a publisher there, but I don't know what if they like the Tick or if they would. Because one thing I also push NEC a little bit to do is to offer exclusive covers to stores and to other conventions. I convinced them to do a couple for Rhode Island. That's a show I do a lot of work for, and they've done 2, and they both did pretty darn well. I mean, I got to tell you. And I've actually never done Terrificon, even though I've heard fantastic things. And I talked to Mitch briefly at the Little Giants show. All right, we've got our Tick roughed in. We've got our kitty cat. Let's tighten up the robot a little bit. Let's give him like a crest. The next show that I have booked is either Plastic City, which is a one-day show in I think it's out towards Worcester, and then I will be at Gem City in Ohio, out near where my folks live. It's like the one of those where I can hook up a business trip with a family trip and see some of my friends. And All right, since this is going to be all like rocks and such, let's have like another wire come down. Why not? Okay. Smoke, smoke, smoke. I have some contract jobs that take up a lot of my time. I do a lot of work for Altered Reality Entertainment for their conventions, and I do graphic design for them. I do their poster artwork. I help them organize artists. Like today, I was working on one of their websites. But yeah, it was the last in-house had to put on a suit and tie job I had was I was the creative director for Acanthus Publishing. It was a publishing house out of Boston, and it was in the North End, and then we moved to the Leather District down by South Station, and then we were in Brookline. Was the last office that I was working there at. A little smoke coming off of Arthur. And before that, I had all the jobs. I was graphic design, print production guy for a number of years. I worked at Michael's, when I was in school. Nth Man, yeah, you're part of the few proud Nth Man fans out there. That's great. I'm glad you had a great time at the show. I hear great things all the time. See if I can get the foreshortening on this to work. I like to draw Arthur with just a little bit of a belly. The other thing that I draw on Arthur that I kind of snuck in there when I first started drawing the tick, and they just let me keep it, is he has a little rabbit's foot on his flight pack. You're not going to be able to see it from this angle, but I do know Larry signs at least one comic for free. I've met him a few times. I talked to him briefly after I did my GI Joe cover on an issue that he wrote, um, which was pretty sweet. I'll admit I was never a huge GI Joe fan. I'm not a big fan of war comics. And anytime I say that, a GI Joe fan tells me it's not about war. It's about character and teamwork and war, but more than that. All right. Actually, think what I will do to create a visual break. So I will add a shadow here, there. Yeah, Oh, and there's plenty of Larry Hama comics I've enjoyed over the years. He did some. He was the editor on Conan for forever, and I love the Marvel Conan stuff. Yes, we'll go with that. We'll go with that, Desiree. The Iron Giant's cousin, maybe his second cousin. His Iron Giant's brothers, sisters, friends, neighbors, angry supervisor. That's how you know he's not working anymore. The X's in the eyes. Very advanced cartooning there. Advanced techniques. Secrets of the industry. X's over the eyes. Very secret. You can't tell anyone. I forget the joke from Spaceballs, like I'm your brother's uncle's college roommate, when he did his reveal to Lone Star. One trick that I like to share with people about drawing the tick, and obviously, like, my version is very different than Ben's or Sean's or Eli's. Um, but one thing that is a common thread is drawing two different sized eyes. Oh, look at this, Desiree with the fire ideas here. My belief is that he thinks that Arthur was turned into a cat, and he's going to try to get him back into moth form. And Arthur's just over here looking confused. I don't know why he thinks he was turned into a cat, but that's the gag I'm going with. And I try to always come up with a joke. Like, unless I'm really tired or if I'm really, really busy, where I have to just, like, just fire out sketches. I like coming up with a joke. One of my favorite things to do at a convention is when Jeff or you know uh, when Jeff is there, or if even when Bob's there, sometimes I can get him to jam, and I'll draw the character, and Jeff or Bob will write a caption. And one of the defining characteristics of how I draw the tick is the full boot chin. If you see my version of the tick in profile, his head is shaped like a boot. And then his neck is gigantic, obviously. Because if you look at different versions of the tick, if you were to try to sculpt the Edlin version from especially the early comics, the head it changes shape from panel to panel. And that was a question I did ask Ben, and he said, like, early on he just wasn't comfortable drawing all the angles yet. So he just made it fit to whatever he needed the panel to fit. I think he told me that at the second time I met him. The first time I met him, I didn't want to bother him. I didn't want to ask him anything. Too nervous. Well, and some artists draw him with more of a pyramid shape head, like this, and the square teeth. And then the chin comes like that. And there are some that do a split chin, actually. Jeff McCumsey did a split chin, if I remember correctly. Pietro, the South American artist, drew basically the animated version, but with like really dynamic exaggerations, like these really cool. Had a really cool look to it. But I think this will be a fun sketch cover when it's done. You know, anytime I can, I'm always comfortable drawing the character. I can draw him basically from any angle I want, and you know, I'm more relaxed when I draw this character. And sometimes when people ask me to draw, like what always happens, and I drew two of them this year, is at Free Comic Book Day, and it's only at Free Comic Book Day. I'm asked to draw Sonic the Hedgehog or a character from Sonic the Hedgehog, and in this year I drew both Sonic and Tails. And I don't know what it is, but anytime I draw characters from that property, they look terrifying when I'm done. I see a cat. I see a turtle. I see Bob Ross. I don't know what that thing is. Is that a sushi roll or a drum? I don't know. I'll have to watch a YouTube video on how those work. Strangely enough, YouTube has been really good about finding like how to do simple computer stuff. Now the face I usually do in pen, but when I get to the actual figure, because of all the line thicknesses, pen would take forever. Oh, pimento. Yeah, thankfully this Restream software, it compiles all of the text, all the chats from all the different accounts right here in one place, so I can at least verbally answer them. I can click on them too. Let me see how it looks when I show that one. Yeah, there's what those look like when I bring them up. I should do that more, but I get too into my drawing to do all the nice comments people put up. My buddy Joe asked me, you know, how you talk and draw and bounce back and forth, how I do it, and I kind of described it like playing sports again. Just because you have to multitask in front of other people. You know who my tick chin is close to? If you look at specifically the Days of Drama comics, the later Dave Garcia stuff. If you look at the comic Days of Drama, he rounds it off a little bit more, but the overall structural shapes are similar. But there was definitely an evolution to Dave's version of the tick, because he was one of the earlier inkers on the book. Sometimes when I don't have to turn it into NEC, I add little things that I think look good on the tick, and it adds a little bit of dimension when you do it in black and white. Do I do a lot of drawing digitally now? Any at this point? Yeah, it's got. I don't have a date yet because I'm working on the plan and um, I'm waiting on a couple of jobs to see if they happen because I don't want to overcommit and I don't want to announce a date and then have to change it and all that stuff. So, but no, I don't do a lot of drawing digitally now. The only things I do digitally now are like pre-flighting production stuff and coloring. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be Lord Crackus is gonna have his day in in the sun. I've been asked to do some jobs digitally, like been asked to, and been told like this has to be drawn digitally um, for production reasons, and I have done jobs that are completely digital. But anytime that I have, I know I'm behind on lots of sketch covers. I have a stack of like 60 sketch covers I did for a dealer that I'm now getting in the mail, hopefully the day after tomorrow. I've got more covers I'll be doing, more next issue covers. But thank you. Yeah. And like I said, it'll be published. So, I'm such a fan of the old Charlton books. I love the horror stuff. Because when I started collecting, all that stuff was in the dollar bin. Oh, you've got some EC horror. That's very cool. I've got some fun ones planned. I've got a ROM Space Knight cover planned for the next issue cover. I've got ooh, Adventure Comics, like when they were weekly, and they had like Black Hawk and Black Canary and Green Lantern before the revamp that John Byrne did when it was a weekly comic. Again, they were all books that were in the dollar bins when I was a kid. Nth Man issue 17. See, like, and that would be a fun one to do. If anybody, I don't even know what to charge for like a commission like that because you're getting a full cover worth of artwork, and then like I would give like a full print of like the digital coloring. I have no idea what the collector's market is for something like that. Hey, Rom Space Knight. I've been enjoying the Buck Bin issues of Rom. I think when we went to a store the last time, I bought a few issues of Rom. I also think I might need to make a run up to Rubber Chicken. He turned his dollar bins into quarter bins, and he has all his sets, Jay does, for sale for like a I think he had dollar comic sets. And I'm like, I can read a whole story for a buck? This is this is my calling. Yeah, and the last time I was at Rubber Chicken was for that signing, the Iron Face signing. It's a great store. Jay's nice. Everybody there is nice. Still waiting for the next Rubber Chicken Comics Presents. I think they have a new issue of Space Chicken out. Look, you can't beat $1 for like a trade's worth of story. I mean, come on. Gonna have to get the pen going again. I don't plan on coloring this, so I'm adding more spotted black ink. I have to put some here. Dollar sets. It's a store of the people right there. There we go. There's a small pen. It's not worn. I also add like sinew for the muscles, and the art director does not like that. And he's the art director, but this is just me drawing something for fun. And I think when I have fun drawing stuff, people who are looking at it to maybe buy it can tell. I do. I think they can tell. Yeah, I made a whole list actually of the next issue project canceled books that I'm just like, man, this would be great. This would be another good one. I think I made his tail too long. We're definitely not finishing this one tonight, but we'll get as far as we can. Get a little ambitious with the two-sided and the robot head and the kitty. I also try to have more complete full figure drawings done in advance, just because I don't have as much time at shows to do them. So. It's definitely not my cat, because my cat would have taken a swipe at him. NEC tends to put like this lower bar with their sketch covers on the exclusives. Hope, fingers crossed if we do get the approval that we're looking for, we will have sketch covers where it's just the title. Sorry, I'm not as chatty as I usually am. I did see the She-Hulk preview. I'm very much looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I did see some comments from folks saying that like it didn't look like the comic book story. It looks like they're very much pulling from the soul and the what's his name that wrote Spider-Man Forever. Started on Ren and Stimpy. Anyway, borrowed from more of the recent books. It's not. It doesn't look like they're going with the the John Byrne version or anything. But I always liked the character. I always liked the books. I always thought that what I liked about Jen as a character was that she was allowed to be smart and funny. Yeah, she was allowed to be smart, funny, and have some flaws, and those were things that like not a lot of characters. Dan Slott, his run. To me, it seems like they're drawing a lot from that run where it was superhero law and different than the types of cases that Daredevil would be covering. But like it's the perfect show to have Daredevil show up in. And there are several issues where Daredevil is going up against Jen in the courtroom. And it's always very enjoyable. I haven't seen that actress in anything, but I'm looking forward to it. I don't have Disney Plus, but this might be the one for me to get it for a month or whatever. I'm wondering if I have my circle template handy here. Let me just take a quick look. But I think it looks good. I'm amazed at how many people are commenting on the show that I'm sure never read the comics. Because like the folks that run my store always used to say I was the only person who had it on their pull list. Okay, yeah, I didn't see that one. I know that was a popular show. My friend Jenny liked that show. What? Okay, cool. That's great to hear that she's a good actress. I mean, they definitely haven't been cheaping out on the actors, like hiring people for these shows. What streaming service is Orphan Black on? Okay, I'll take a look. There's a very loud helicopter going by my house, so I'm sorry if you can hear it. It always sounds like they're doing, like, I don't know, Coast Guard drills or something down by the water there. Oh, okay. I don't have the AMC one, so oh well. Maybe someday. Oh, okay. If it's on Prime, I'll check out season one. Yeah. Yeah, we've got Prime. Absolutely. Oh, okay. You know, that happens sometimes with different shows. Although for me, it'll be kind of like when you just read the trades. You're not waiting for, an issue that's late or anything. Like the people that read like Camelot 3000, which was a book that Brian Bolland drew beautifully, and the last issue came out like a year late. But if you just read the trade, it's all right there. That was actually my plan for reading Doomsday Clock, but I have yet to circle back around and find a used copy of the trade to read. I just saw so many panels from that as Gary Frank was posting them, and the art was just breathtaking. And then I had these people sending me these unsolicited messages to, um, yeah, sign a petition to DC Comics about Doomsday Clock. And I was like, what are you guys talking about? And yeah, they sent me multiple private messages trying to get me to sign some sort of petition to undo Doomsday Clock. And I'm like, guys, what's going on? It's just a comic book. They'll hit the reset button, a year later anyway. I haven't watched too much TV lately. I did watch the Our Flag Means Death show. I thought that was really good. So if you like Taika Waititi's humor and stuff, if you like What We Do in the Shadows, um, I think people would like it that like his other stuff. Yeah, I can't really watch too much TV while I'm drawing, but I'll listen to like a ball game. What was I drawing today? Today was a lot of what you call it, graphic design. Unfortunately, this is the most drawing I've done today. I did one sketch cover for Something Is Killing the Children for that dealer I mentioned, but that was my whole lunch break. Was like a bust sketch of that. The dark and gritty tick. I actually did a joke about that, and the folks at NEC didn't appreciate it so much. So it was edited out. Did not pass the mustard. The closest we got to a dark and gritty tick was a short story called Tick PI, where it was the tick as a detective, but it was in black and white. So like it was more of like a an old crime noir look, but NEC style. NEC actually has kind of specific requests for their coloring style, and they want it to be more what do you call it? Airbrushy. It's the only way I could put it. Now I'm gonna have to redo those speech bubbles. Oh well. Just getting carried away with the clouds here. It's funny. People were saying that they thought the Amazon one was dark and gritty, but like it really wasn't. God, it's not. That's not the tick. Well, I mean, Ben Edlund was the showrunner, so he knows what he's doing. He's got a handle on things. Have a good night, Jonathan. Thanks for hanging out. We've actually gotten a lot further on this than I thought we would. I'm gonna rough in the speech bubbles just because that's unfortunately what you gotta do. I think because I screwed this up, I have to move. I could probably move it over here. And it's goofy. We'll have to use some whiteout, but we'll get it to work. And I'll white this out and then put Don't Worry Arthur in it. Whew. Have a good night, man. Some cracks in his teeth. Piece missing. Yes, wouldn't you be concerned if the tick was picking you up and telling you he'd turn you into a moth? I would be. You're absolutely right. A little cherry seltzer. If I were coloring it in, he would be an orange cat, because I love orange cats. One thing I was told by the folks at NEC at one time. Orange and white kitty, very nice. Cato. One time I was told by the folks at NEC that the first thing they do when they ever see like a new artist version of the tick is count how many segments in the antennae they draw. I get a little erasing done just because it helps me see it. Well, when I don't have it planned out, I'm actually kind of like seeing it as I go and reacting to the drawing as it takes shape. So when I remove some of the pencil marks and clean it up a little bit, I get a better look at what we have. This eraser's natural tendency is to make a very annoying squeaking sound, and I'm trying to not have it do that. I remember the uprising that almost happened when I used my electric eraser on the stream. People were claiming I was bringing them flashbacks of trips to the dentist's office. Nearly mutinated. Nearly mutinated. See, to me, some of these like topographical lines that are parallel to the form, I think give better definition. Ben did something that was very much more time consuming. He did all those little hatch marks on his tick for years until later on when he'd been working on the show, he backed off on them. You know, anytime you saw like a modern drawing of the tick that he didn't have quite as much line work on it. I think what I need to do is I need to have something else right here. Yeah, I'll probably throw this in the binder. You know, I try to get at least, 6 or 7 done before a show. My next show is not till July, so I should have some time to get it done. And I'm hoping to do an art drop on the website because I do have some pieces that I think that, while they could sell at a show, I think people would like an opportunity to snap them up. I'm never going to put the prelims, the super cheap ones on my website because I like to just I don't have a million of them and I like to have them for, kids and new collectors at shows. Or I'll just give them to people sometimes. There was actually a very nice young man who was at the signing I did the other day, and he was just waiting so patiently and so nicely that I gave him a thing out of the binder. Two. We had one that I gave a book to, and then one that I gave a little sketch to, because they were waiting for so long, and they were so nice about it, and want kids to have a good time at these things. I was doing free sketches for kids anyway, but wanted to give them something nice. One was a big Ninja Turtles fan, so it's true. Like it's the only way the hobby's gonna and the art form is gonna stay alive, especially in print format. You know, I think the characters are always going to be popular. Yeah, for kids, absolutely. Do free sketches for kids all the time. I'm not spending a zillion hours on them. I just do quick little, ticks or Ninja Turtles or whatever. But yeah, I mean, heck, Neil Adams did free sketches for kids, all the time. And he was, continually criticized for charging for everything. But he knew that that it was important. Feh. Come on, Douglas. One free sketch and your heart will grow 3 sizes. I was actually talking about different versions of how people draw the tick's head, and I actually was looking at your issue, and yours had the tick eyes, and then a little bit shorter on the covering of the chin than others. Yes, they do. Thank you, Desiree. All the little things that I'm trying to put in here that move the eye to try to get you to Arthur. Cat's tail, tick's antennae come down, lighting, the light's coming from here, this hard, yes. I mean, Tim Jones, not only is the comic strip fun, he does something that hasn't been done in a very long time, and he has created his own syndicate. He has put together his own and reached out to all these papers on his own. It's very impressive what Tim does. And he puts out a daily strip. And he's a nice guy. So you're probably right, Douglas, but yeah. Douglas, what was your initial approach on the tick? Did you look at any of the other books or anything when you were figuring out your version of it, or was it just intuitive? Did you just go into it? Did Bob and George say, "No, don't draw it like that"? Okay, yeah. Yeah, we were talking about Ben's run earlier on how actually, like, the structure of the head, like, if you drew a model from how it looked in one panel, a three-dimensional one, and tried to do it again from another panel, you'd have 2 different head shapes, like, completely different. I understand he was a kid when he was drawing this stuff, but oh, it definitely fit with your style, for sure. I quite enjoyed, your Arthur as well. I think Arthur's the hardest to draw out of the group. Yes, you're right. Yeah, so it fits with all your background people or whoever, the humanoid characters. I still have these to send to you, Doug. Shiny. It's in there twice because the guts on all the books are the same. That makes perfect sense. I would pull out the page that I bought from you, but it's in a binder over on the shelf, which is like just too far. Uh, Desiree, you can get it from that man right there, Douglas. I, they are exclusive to him. Yeah, I take the exclusivity thing very seriously because I see so many places where people order exclusives and they say they're exclusive and they end up being not so exclusive. And look, I've profited from that for where they've said sell them wherever you want. But I would if I was in the case where I'm the person. Uh, oh, there was no Kickstarter for it. I just did them out of pocket. I did it the way I used to do comics, the old man way, where I just saved money on little things here and there, like groceries and things, and I didn't buy luxuries and saved up and did a print run. And then when the print run sells out, which it pretty much just did, and I just ordered another 200 or so that I'll be able to sell at shows. Yeah, you're right. The eyes, if you get them right, and they're very expressive, they're very big. Um, I think a bent uh, Arthur ear is funnier than a missing one. Yeah, that's how I used to do all my self-published comics. I didn't go to Kickstarter. I just saved money, and then went to stores, and some of them would give you like a consignment deal, and others would give you they would just buy them from you. Um, Arthur's the tougher of the two, I think. Yeah, and I would take him to shows, and I'd take him to signings and stuff, and that's how I did it. But Undersea Hero will be done the new way with the Kickstarter and the crowdfunding and the rewards and stuff. And I got some really fun ideas for some rewards, and um, I found all the packaging I need to get. I got all the cost for all the different shipping boxes. I've got two size shipping boxes, one for people who get things that are 11 by 17 and one for people who don't. Obviously, the larger box is more expensive to ship. I'm still trying to figure out the international shipping, and I'm trying to come up with some projections for Europe. Has been okay, um, but outside of Europe, I'm trying to at least get it to Japan and China. But people are going to be paying a lot of money for the shipping, and I can't guarantee any time. And I'm also going to do what a friend of mine who's a writer had asked if it was possible on a Kickstarter to have an option to decline all of the random stuff like the stretch goals and everything. And that's one thing I will include on my Kickstarter, because, like, hey, if you don't want the stuff, you don't have to take the prints and extra goodies or anything else. If you just want the book, um, please enjoy it with my compliments. And I looked into manufacturing Krakus plush fellas, and I've looked into some Etsy artists who make stuff like that. So I'm making decisions on how that's going to look and what we're going to do. Because I think anytime you can support other artists with your Kickstarter, I think it's always good. Yep, that is a thing that I will have. I don't know, and we'll have some ridiculous stretch goals. Like if we got X number 1,000, I'll jump in the Charles River or something. Yes, we would like a cute, squishy cuttlefish to offer in the Kickstarter. And the other thing that I'm going to do is, because I used to work for both an aquarium, and we talked about this when I was working on the Undersea Hero stuff. I worked at an aquarium and I worked at the Whaling Museum, and that's a different place where you can offer thematically appropriate all ages material. And I'll send a copy to the aquariums around here, see if they want to carry it, do a signing. Arthur, I tend to go with a little bit lighter line because he has the white suit. I don't put as much definition to it. I know Mike from back in the day. I was talking about it at the at that event. Mike was when I got out of college. I wasn't sure. I did comics in high school. I did comics in college, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna keep doing them. I was always gonna keep drawing and doing artwork, but um, it was Jay Kennedy that said, "Oh, you gotta come to Boston Comic Con. You gotta come to Boston Comic Con," because I had copies of books that I had done as a kid, in high school and in college, just collecting dust, and I didn't have anything new. It was all stuff from like probably my junior, senior year, early senior year, mostly junior year of college, because my senior year I basically had stopped. And the company I was working for, I just stopped working for them because it was too much with all of school and um, doing sports and all kinds of things. It was just too much. But yeah, and Mike was like the second artist I met in Boston after I moved mainland because I was living on Nantucket right after school and working at the museum there. And I loved that job. That was a great job. Walked to work, low stress, very supportive of my creative endeavors. Um, had a great boss. Georgina was a great boss. And I ran like the book section, so like I got to pick stuff. Worked where at the Mariah Mitchell Aquarium or the Nantucket Whaling Museum? Oh wow, okay, yeah. And I must have seen him if we were there the same years. I was working there '07, '06, during the summer season, and then a little bit in the off season of '07, and then I moved to Boston. '05, '04, I worked for Barry Thurston's tackle shop, and then all the years prior to that, I volunteered at the and then worked at the Mariah Mitchell Aquarium. I helped out with like the marine mammal rescue team. I helped out with some of the studies they did with Woods Hole. It was fun. Plenty of good parties in the summertime. And people got paid very well to fold T-shirts and fix fishing rods. And at the Whaling Museum, I was basically running the little book nook, and I sold books, and I had them start carrying like the Will Eisner, um, Moby Dick, the classics illustrated that they did, and yeah, they were totally hyped on it, and I was able to sell tons of copies because I was real pumped on it. So they were happy, and I got to sell comic books out of the Whaling Museum, and I did that art show there. I did a solo art exhibition at the Whaling Museum. Has Mike Dougherty published anything? He has done some independent stuff, I know for sure, and I have a copy of one of them around here somewhere. He did a cover for Jim Savard's book Hellion, and then I forget the name of the anthology that is on my bookshelf. But he does a lot of like pop culture characters and like fan art type prints and stuff. And he's told me he doesn't have a lot of interest in making like comic books, like doing interiors. Like he was just telling me at this signing that he wants to do more writing, which is cool. You know, he's a smart guy. He's an art teacher. I'd be interested in seeing what he comes up with. He said he was interested in doing like horror comedy. So yeah, Will Eisner did a Moby Dick. It was hardback. He did a series of classic stories. He did Don Quixote. He did Moby Dick. He did about 2 or 3 other ones that I'm not remembering at the moment. But yeah, and it's beautiful. And he did it all in 6-panel grid. So like, you know, everybody gives Watchmen credit for the 9-panel grid, but it was all, you know, 6 panels. And it was very much in his later Spirit style, you know. Yeah, they were hardback or softback. It had a blue border. I believe NBM was the publisher, and they also published the P. Craig Russell adapted operas, the illustrated operas. Well, we've gotten a lot further than I thought we would for the first night of working on this big, ambitious sketch cover. So I'm going to call it a night. It's 10 p.m. As always, I love spending time with you folks, and thank you for supporting me and these live draws and sharing your excellent ideas for sketches and whatnot. And I hope you all have a lovely evening. I'll finish this and I'll post it. It probably won't be tomorrow. It might be tomorrow night. But yeah, I will finish this and I will get it up so everybody can see the final product. I'll do all the little damage stuff. And like I said, I need like a wedge here where this becomes like a framing device. But I'll sleep on it. And you all have a pleasant evening. Kevin, I'm sorry you missed it. We'll be back next Wednesday, every Wednesday. And you can catch this on repeat. And yeah, feel free to comment, and I'll try to get you back if you have any questions. Have a good night, everybody.